All right, everyone, get ready because today we are diving into the world of business loans.
Oh, this is a good one.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so interesting how loans can either be like a magnet for investors or,
Totally scare them off.
exactly.
It's
like that
just-
feeling when you're really hitting it off with someone.
Yeah.
And then bam, you find out they've got like a mountain of credit card debt.
Whoa, red flag, right?
Right. Is that a red flag or is it not? Well,
In the business world,
in the business world, it's not always so simple.
it's way more nuanced.
It really is. And to help us unpack all of this whole debt dilemma, we've got a financial strategist with us today
And I'm so ready for
who's
this.
seen it all. Right. Let's do it. Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So I think a lot of people just automatically assume
Oh, yeah.
that any debt is bad debt.
For sure.
But in the podcast we're analyzing today, our expert, Ed Nikki, really emphasizes that for investors,
Right.
they're much more interested in the big picture.
And
The overall financial health of the business, not just this one number on a balance sheet.
it's not just about the numbers, it's about the why, the story behind them.
I like that, the story, okay?
Because a loan could be a sign of ambition, not necessarily trouble,
Okay, so it's kind of
Like taking out a mortgage on a bigger house, that's not a bad thing.
Right.
As long as you can handle the payments.
exactly.
Right.
You wouldn't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
Exactly.
You got to look at the whole picture, the whole fish.
Love that. The whole fish.
So debt has to be evaluated in context.
Context is key.
Totally. And the podcast gave a really good example.
Okay, what was it?
Let's say there's a business
Yeah.
and they need to invest in like
All right.
brand new equipment. They're going to buy a huge piece of equipment.
Makes sense.
Or they're expanding.
They're expanding into a new market.
Yes.
Those sound like smart moves, not
Not trouble at all.
not trouble at all.
That's smart business. Right. So that's where I think this idea of debt as a financial health indicator comes in.
Okay, I like that. Say more about that.
So it's like taking on a reasonable amount of debt
Right. Reasonable.
to set yourself up for future success.
Yes. Future success. Tell me more.
That could actually be a good thing. Investors might see that as a good thing.
It shows you're proactive, you're thinking long-term,
Strategic.
strategic. Exactly.
But I'm guessing,
Uh-oh, I hear a butt coming.
but there's a tipping point, right?
There's always a tipping point.
At what point does a little healthy ambition
Yeah.
become a debt-fueled dumpster fire?
Okay, you're not wrong. There's definitely a flip side.
Okay.
Too much debt and investors get nervous.
Because too much debt equals
Risk.
Risk.
I got a risk.
But how do they actually measure that risk? Do they just I don't know,
We're darts at a board.
throw darts at a balance sheet? Like how do they
That's where our trusty friend, the debt to equity ratio, comes into play.
debt to equity ratio? Okay.
Investors use this ratio like a financial stress test.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
So imagine company A, they've got a 2.1 ratio,
Okay.
meaning they've got twice as much debt as equity.
Oh boy.
Now compare that to company B,
All right.
cruising along with a 0.5.1 ratio,
Okay.
more equity than debt.
So which one are you more likely to invest in?
Which one do you think?
I think I'm going with company B.
Probably a good choice.
Right. A high ratio would make me sweat.
A little sweaty, I get it.
So it's not just about the debt, it's the ratio.
The ratio is key.
Debt to equity. Okay. What else should we be thinking about?
We need to think about the why.
The why.
Why is the company taking on debt? That's just as important as how much debt they have.
Okay, so you're saying
Like, not all debt is created equal.
not all debt is created equal.
Exactly.
I like it. I'm with you.
Adenike calls this the use of funds.
Use of funds.
And it's a major, major factor for investors.
So give me an example. Like what's a good use of funds versus...
So let's say a company wants to develop the next big social media app, right? Game changer.
Okay, I'm in.
Versus they need a loan just to, cover payroll this month.
Ooh, okay, so that's a good use of funds versus not a good use of funds.
Which one sounds more appealing to you as an investor?
The social media app, for sure.
Right.
Sign me up. Where do I sign?
Exactly. It's all about understanding, is this debt fueling innovation or is it just a Band-Aid? See, you get it. You're getting it.
That's making sense.
It's all about, is this debt a sign of smart strategic growth
Right.
or is it a Band-Aid
Ooh, I see.
covering a bigger problem?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We really have.
Debt to equity ratio,
Right.
the why behind the loan.
Why is so important.
But let's narrow our focus a little bit
Right.
and talk about equity investors.
Okay, so these are the investors who are like buying a piece of the company,
Exactly.
not just lending them money.
They're in it to win it.
Okay. All right. So are equity investors
Yeah.
like afraid of companies with a lot of debt?
That's a great question. And it's not always a deal breaker.
Okay.
It really depends.
Okay.
Adeniki mentioned that some equity investors actually specialize in working with companies
Oh, wow.
with specific financing structures in place.
So there are investors out there who are okay
Oh.
with a little risk.
Risk and reward.
Risk and reward, yeah. Okay, so where do I sign up to be that kind of investor?
Right. Some people love that. The opportunity that leverage provides.
Okay.
So these investors, they might be attracted to businesses that have used debt strategically to achieve rapid growth.
I see.
However, risk management is going to be a top priority for them.
Yeah, of course.
They want to see a rock-solid plan for handling that debt.
Totally. Yeah, you don't want to be left holding the bag.
Exactly. Because remember, it's all about finding that perfect match.
Okay, the matchmaking.
The investor who aligns with the company's goals, risk tolerance.
That's like online dating for
Exactly.
investors.
Financial